Speaking of incredible plays, we've got our guy Brian Baldinger joining us now, brought to you by Verizon. This is powered by Verizon, our insider access. Switch to their award-winning 5G network and get a $200 gift card. Let's bring him on, the man, the myth, the legend, Brian Baldinger. Baldi, what's going on? Welcome back from L.A.
Thank you, Zach. Good to be with you guys, man. Big game this weekend for you guys. Just got a chance to kind of do a little scouting for you and what you have in store for you as you fight for that playoff spot.
Yeah, and Baldi, you just got to see the Chargers in person. And before we get to that game, we were just having the conversation about, one, how concerning the Broncos' rushing attack has been over the past month or so. They're only averaging just over 80 yards per game on the ground the past 5 weeks. And then, two, how do you fix it going into the playoffs when that's where teams really thrive, is on the running game? So I want your expertise. How do the Broncos fix this thing?
Well, they're trying. They're trying to do it. I mean, they're trying different backs. They're starting Jaleel. They're just not getting much movement right there. Guys are kind of sitting on him a little bit, and it has been tough sledding for him. But you got to keep trying to find different runs, formations, anything you can right now. They're not getting much out of the tight ends in the blocking game. That never helps when you're trying to get to the edges. They're popping one here or there. Jaleel seems to be the guy that can do that more than Javonte, but it's been tough. And it's not like Sean Payton isn't trying to do it. He's trying to balance things up. They just haven't been very good at it.
It's been kind of crazy to watch too, because you just think that this group would be so much better, but I think the running backs are making mistakes with the reads. They're not making guys miss when others make mistakes. The offensive line not getting as much push as you would like. Like you said, the tight ends, even the receivers, they're not necessarily executing on their blocks. The runs are being called don't seem like they're fitting up against the defense. It really seems like it's just kind of a perfect storm where everything is going wrong and they just can't get anything going.
Well, the Colts defense, I mean, first of all, you've got to get their nickel blocked, and that's a hard thing to do because the receivers have to kind of do that. They're a big part. But this Zaire Franklin, I mean, there's a reason why, he's at the top of the leaderboard in tackles. He's just a difficult guy. Like, he reads schemes really, really fast. EJ Speed as well. They got a problem there with DeForest Buckner. He's just so big in the three technique. He just, he takes on two blockers really good, and then he gets skinny and splits them. They're they're a very good defense. They played great. They played great defense. They were trying to get, keep them in the contention for a playoff spot. They gave them their best shot. I have a lot of respect for that group. But Zaire Franklin, if you can't get him blocked, he's going to make every tackle, and that's what it looked like on Sunday.
Baldi, without the run game working really well, the Broncos have really been relying on Bo Nix to provide that offensive spark, and I feel like this week he kind of had a uncharacteristic game, throwing 3 interceptions. Do you feel like for a young quarterback that was kind of finding his groove, that a late bye in the season could have messed up his momentum and the way he was playing?
I don't know if it's a late bye. I mean, he did not play well. He threw the ball into coverage. One was off his beat. He just kind of threw it up there and just overshot the receiver, and it just came into the weight and arms of the defensive back there. I thought all 3 interceptions were bad and were on him. I didn't think he was fooled. I don't think it was, great defensive. I thought he was just 3 poor passes into coverage. And that's something we hadn't seen from him in a long time. So maybe it was just a one-game thing. You hope it's just a one-game thing that, it's not going to be one of these rookie walls or something like that people will say to kind of defend, poor play. But we have not seen him make those type of throws in a long time. And to have them bunched up like they did in a short period of time, I hope that's just unusual for him. And he get back to playing smarter, better football.
Baldi, the good thing is for Bo, he gets to move on quick to a short week this week, playing the Chargers, and there's literally no one better to talk about the Chargers than you, because you just got off a plane being in LA watching the Chargers really have a really disappointing game from their perspective. So when it comes to the Broncos and game plan and looking at the Chargers, what's the key for the Broncos to get the win against the Chargers on Thursday Night Football, something they weren't able to do when they played them earlier this season?
Well, two things. I mean, one, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, nobody's improved in the run game more than the Bucs. Coming into the season, they were dead last in the NFL rushing 2 straight years in a row. I think the addition of Liam Cohen and some scheme, the addition of Bucky Irving in the backfield, the addition of Graham Barton at center, they ran the ball down their throats. And Bucky Irving at one point had 10 carries for 101 yards. They ran the ball really, really well. That helped Baker a great deal. And then, secondly, they really struggle to get explosive plays in the passing game. They got a couple to Lad McConkey to start the game. They couldn't get anything else after that. They really don't have an explosive element. And then, to play into the Broncos' hands, they're not a good running football team without J.K. Dobbins. And the Bucs, no matter what type of runs they tried, whether it was outside sweeps, inside dives, they're not very good in the interior three offensive linemen, whether it's Bozeman, whether it's Zion, whether it's Trey Pipkin seems to be a weakness. The two tackles are pretty good, but those three areas are a big concern if I'm the Chargers right now.
When you look at Lad McConkey, he isn't necessarily the type of guy who Pat Surtain would typically line up against, just because more of a shiftier little slot guy, especially when you have somebody like Quentin Johnston out there. What do you think the Broncos should do in terms of their coverage plan going up against these Chargers receivers?
That's a good question. It really is, because I think Quentin, he's caught, 7 or 8 touchdowns now. He's been productive like that. He seems like last year I thought he had hands like feet, and he dropped a lot of balls. He doesn't seem to be dropping as many this year. But I feel like the offense goes through Lad. And if I was Patrick Surtain, this guy's a really good router. He might be almost too quick for Patrick, although I think his length can really help him. And I don't know what his condition is after the injury there at the end of the game. But I would think you'd want Patrick on Lad McConkey, and they move him around a lot. He's in the slot. He's out wide. They really run a lot of plays for him. He's going to get more targets than Quentin. I think you better serve putting Surtain, providing he's fully healthy, to put him on McConkey.
Baldy, these AFC West games are always close. They're always competitive, and they're always tough. Unfortunately, it feels like the Broncos have a few injuries kind of creeping up on them at this point. Maybe DJ Jones, JFM, Riley Moss. Is this a game that the Broncos can still win without, some of their key players on defense?
I think so. DJ's a really good player. He played a great game last week. I don't know if Malcolm Roach, can he go on the nose and play it like DJ? I'm not sure. They'll be a little shorthanded, but, everybody is at this point. I think they've got some depth in there right now. John Franklin Myers can play a variety of positions. So I feel like with Zach Allen, John Franklin Myers, Malcolm, I think they have enough there that they can still man the interior right there and shut down the Chargers' run game, which isn't very good right now.
Baldi, final one for you. The Broncos' magic number to make the playoffs right now is 1. They need one more win in these final 3 games to clinch their first playoff berth since 2015 when they won Super Bowl 50. So my question to you is, when does it happen? Is it this week against the Chargers, next week against the Bengals, or the final week against the Chiefs? Or, of course, there's the option that they just don't make it.
I feel good about just watching the Chargers last week. You're going to read all kinds of stats that they were the number 1 ranked defense in football. They didn't play like it. I know that. I feel like they can go to SoFi and win this week and kind of take the pressure off. If they go to SoFi and win this week and clinch a playoff spot, you have to talk about Sean Payton as Coach of the Year. With the limited resources they have, the salary cap hits they took, the number of injuries they've had, all those things, a rookie quarterback. If Sean Payton gets them into the playoffs and beats Jim Harbaugh in his backyard this week, there's some great coaching performances this year, but you've got to look at Sean Payton as a real contender for that position.
Yeah, I think you're spot on there, Baldy. Thank you so much for joining us. And I'm not sure if we'll talk to you before the holidays next week or after, but happy holidays, and we really appreciate you being on with us all year.
Appreciate it, guys. Yep, happy holidays to everybody now. Go Broncos.
Boom, there we go. And let's hope we're talking about Broncos clinching a playoff spot next time we talk to Baldi.